Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Shamira binti Ramlan. For today, my group will present the poster that we have made for the demolition work. Before I start this presentation, my group consists of Sarah Khadijah Hanim binti Muhammad Suhud and Zafran Nabil bin Mazlam. First of all, I will start the presentation with the introduction of demolition work. As we can see on this poster on the left side, there is a meaning and among the factors that cause demolition work to happen. Firstly, demolition work is the process dismantling or destroying a structure. This demolition work involves the demolition of building using available method. Demolition work is always done in building that we can see in terms of the condition of the building itself. What I mean by building condition is when building left is up, the structure is no longer safe because the older the building, the lower level of building durability. Other than that, the building receive life load and dead load for long period time. This cause the building is experience problem with the cracked walls. Other than that, building items such as a column experience buckling and beams will face with the bending condition. For common safety, demolition work is the best way to build or upgrade the building that have to suffer with the structural damage. For the right part, we can see the background of demolition work. For demolition work, we choose a project kerja-kerja meroboh bangunan kaunter di JT Mersing. The selection of this project is closely related to the title of our writer report is demolition work. This JT demolition work took as much as RM27,861 ringgit. The time period for the completion of this demolition work is 6 months. The main purpose for the demolition work is to change it to a new jetty counter. So, I will pass the next topics to other presenter.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Zafran Nabil bin Mazlam. So, I am going to continue this presentation with type and selection. The type of demolition that has been applied for this case study project is the progressive demolition. Progressive demolition is a demolition works by restoring or demolishing a structure member part by part before the building collapse. It also known as top-down demolition, which is a method of deconstruction that starts from top of a structure and work its way to the ground. The next one is the method of demolition. The method of demolition that has been used for this project is mainly hand demolition method. As the name stated, we know it will involve with hand tools. For example, this project used sledgehammer to take down a wall for demolition process.
Now I will continue the presentation with construction methods for demolition works. The method used for demolition works for the first one is survey the building. Prior to destruction, industry professionals should inspect all aspects of the property, including the construction materials, design, building usage and building codes. This will make it easier to determine which strategies to apply in safely and efficiently dismantling the property. Moreover, the next method is remove hazardous materials. Prior to the demolition of the structure, specialized personnel are called in to remove dangerous items from the site. The hazardous material demolition plan clearly defines an organization duties and responsibilities for reducing potential health risks from hazardous material during demolition and rehabilitation. However, a thorough plan of how the demolition should be carried out should be established. The demolition plan should include the specification on which demolition procedure should be used in each section of the building, as well as the sequence in which they should be carried out. We also need to clarify the technique statement for the building demolition. For example, displaying the demolition sequence and the demolition method to be used. Following that, create a waste management plan and a demolition process schedule. Last but not least, the method used is implement safety measure. To provide a safe, efficient and cohesive approach to demolition procedures, all workers engaged should discuss preventive measure and engage in toolbox talks. Furthermore, demolition safety indicators must be used correctly and consistently. Workers should also wear adequate personal protective equipment (PPE) when working near the structure at all times. Now we move to the types of method used for demolition works. The first one is implosion demolition method. It is a demolition technique in which items are demolished by falling on themselves. This approach uses explosive to bring down tall structure by weakening structural support so that the structure collapse within their footprint or along a planned path. There are two forms of implosion depending on how the structural fall, for example, falling like a tree and falling into its footprint. Next, chemical demolition method. Chemical demolition method without the use of explosive is safer and less expensive. In contrast to blasting, there is no lengthy permitting process. The rest of the structure is safe from vibration and important stone portion can be retained. Moving to the next method that can be used is controlled demolition method. It is a demolition process that entails tearing down building and structure in a safe, supervised manner in order to obtain the greatest outcome in the shortest amount of time. Furthermore, mechanical demolition method. This technique necessitates the use of specialized mechanical equipment and tools. It is because specific demolition equipment may be used on different buildings materials such as steel or concrete. This method of demolition is more exact than the crane and ball. Selective demolition also includes in the methods of demolition works. This method of demolition entails dismantling particular portion of a structure. This strategy entails removing certain internal component of a building while protecting the remaining structural and exterior portion of a building. However, the interior demolition is about this sort of demolition entails the dismantling of certain inner structure. The procedure will differ depending on whether you want to remove one or several sections of the buildings. This usually entails tearing down walls, ceiling, and pipes, among other things. Finally, the last method is strip-out demolition method. This process requires the careful dismantling or deconstruction of building or structure to safeguard to use, renovation, or recycling. Structures are carefully disassembled or deconstruct in this type to save component for use. As for this case study report, mostly the method used in construction are selective demolition method and controlled demolition method as well. I guess that's all about method of construction for demolition works. Now I will pass the presentation to the next presenter.
So I'm going to continue this presentation with the advantages of demolition works. The first one is promote new development. Demolition is a process of removing existing structures that are outdated, dangerous, or no longer useful. This creates a space for a new construction or redevelopment of more useful buildings and facilities that are much required. The next one is safety improvement. Demolition of unstable or dangerous structure eliminates potential safety hazards. Demolition helps in the prevention of structure breakdown. Buildings that are at risk of falling due to age or structure flaw can be demolished safely and lowering the likelihood of unexpected collapse and lead to safety issues. This next one is increased business opportunities. Demolition activity create new business opportunities for demolition service contractor. They also will create more job opportunities for the construction industry's worker. The last one is sustainable material recovery. Demolition allows valuable material to be recovered and utilized in the future construction project. And for the disadvantages of demolition works, for the first one is negative impact on the environment. For example, demolition works is typically loud and can happen in peaceful location. Although the works may not continue long, the noise interruption may cause problems for persons who live and work nearby. The second one is health and safety risks. When it has safety improvement, there are also risks to health, or worst case scenario, it costs life in demolition works. For example, risk of being injured by falling debris, structural instability, hazardous material, and accident involving heavy machinery or equipment. The last one is cost and time implication. Demolition work can be expensive, especially if unexpected challenge or complication arise during the process. The expenses of demolition works can include the demolition itself, waste management, site remediation, and subsequent construction. Demolition and rebuilding a property from scratch is not going to be cheap, and it will take a long time to be completed. That's all from me. Thank you.
we will move on to the solution and problem that we will face when doing demolition work. The problem we will face is injuries caused by hazardous material. This is very important because the chemicals such as asbestos that come into the contact with the skin cause construction site worker or labor to be affected by silica disease, which is burned on the skin as a result of breaking stone wall. Not only from being exposed to hazardous material, falling material can also be the biggest cause of problem for laborers. This problem occur as a result of falling material that can cause laborers to suffer head injuries. For example, the shilling and hammer falling on the head of the construction worker. The next problem is noise and vibration. The demolition work will make a loud noise because the breaking work is happening, so it will disturb the hearing of the worker, and the vibration is too strong to affect the condition of the building that are near with the project that doing the demolition work. The problem that exists must have a solution for that problem. The solution that can be taken first and foremost is identify the information about hazardous chemical and materials. The purpose of this is to ensure that the chemical materials contained in the building to be demolished can be controlled. Labor workers can wear safety equipment such as safety hat, safety shoes, and wear appropriate clothing. Okay, so for the next point, securing the work area. Securing the work area can be the best solution because by ensuring that the condition of the construction is constantly monitored, the public cannot be enter the construction site. This can prevent the public from trespassing and getting injured due to being hit by broken pieces of building item. Okay, so for the next solution is debris clean up. After the demolition work is done, the cleaning work need to be done to ensure the construction site is safe from the demolished building as well as the dust from the broken building scattered around the construction site area. So I will pass the next topic to other presenter.
To conclude all the points that has been discussed before, demolition is a process of destroying and demolishing building and other structures, which is completely opposite to the construction process. Demolition work can also be described as the process of dismantling or destroying a structure after its life can be used with a plan and control method. Demolition works are often carried out in combination with site clearance, for example, to dispose of rubble or waste material. There are several types for demolition works. So it shows how we carry out demolition work. So in this case study, the type of demolition method that has been used is progressive demolition, where the demolition process is done part by part and from the top of the structure to the ground. Demolition work in the construction sector means demolishing buildings and other structure that bear loads or otherwise relate to the physical integrity of the structure. I guess that's all from us. Thank you for lending us your ear.